Hello wonderful people and welcome back to Coffee Over Apples. My name is Steph and today I have for you a how not to bullet journal video.
It could change the world.
On we go.
Here I'm going to talk to you about the things that are not working with this bullet journal and things that I've learned as I've started my first bullet journal, and then hopefully that can help someone else figure something out. Because whenever we look at other people's bullet journals, they're always so beautiful and neat, put together and creative. It takes time and practice to get there, and it's okay if that happens. Like, it's okay for your first bullet journal not to be the most meticulously thought out, beautiful thing. As long as you're doing something in any way, shape, or form, it is creativity. Writing is creativity, doodling is creativity, it all counts. So, then I'm just gonna show it and then hopefully inspire someone to show them that if you start it, that you can get better as long as you try. So the beginning of this, I'm gonna warn you guys, I am not a big fan of the stuff that I did in the beginning of this bullet journal. Especially because since I started it in April, that I decided to go back and fill in the months that were missing, and that was a mistake. I should have just started over. But when I do go back to start a new one in January, hopefully of next year, I will have a much better idea of where this is going. So you're gonna see a lot of growth over the past couple of months. So I guess let's just get started. This bullet journal I got off of Amazon. I think I paid like $10 for it. I don't know. It's called Kit Good or Key Good or something, I should say on the inside, but it has this like little flappy here that you can put that over. These are actually stickers that I got on Amazon as well, and it has these little golden brown tassels that you can use as page markers. But I got these stickers off of Amazon. I have like a whole bunch of them. They're really pretty. So I've just got this flowery theme kind of going on. I know other people do like a different theme every month, but I just kind of wanted to keep it simple for my first one and do a theme for the year. I'm thinking maybe next year I might do like a K-pop theme or something. That might be really nice. So I'm gonna use the stickers throughout the book, and then at the end of the year, if there's any excess that I have, I'm gonna put it all over the cover, even though the cover itself is kind of nice. Here we go. So the first page, Key Good is the name of the company, but I just put my name, so it belongs to Steph. I don't know what else. I might do something here later. I have no idea. And then I put 2020 reading journal. Now I'm using markers throughout this, and we're gonna talk about what kind of markers I use and why some of them worked and why some of them did not. But I just put 20, this is a reading journal, so it's all about books and bookish things. I'm also, just so everyone knows, I'm utilizing the front and back of this book. So if I were to flip it, you would see the yearly statistics. So I'm doing like monthly stuff in the front, and then yearly things or more general things in the back. So eventually I'll like meet in the middle. I don't know if that makes any sense. You're going to see what I have going on back here. So back here I have physical Tbrs. So I made a list of every single book that I have physically in my at-home TBR, and I put circles just for the rating instead of stars. But and I gave myself 2 extra pages in case I buy more books throughout the year, but I shouldn't have to because I think I counted it and it was like 65. I think it's 65, like 60 books. Some ridiculous number on here, and there's no reason why I should be buying any more books throughout the year. But then I have best of the year spread, so I'm really happy with this. I might definitely change it up next year, but that's okay. So I have each month, so I have the first 6 months here and then the next 6 months here, and then I'm filling them in as they go along. I need to update this for March and April. This is for the best of the first half, and this is for the best of the second half of the year, and then of those 2, we will choose the best of 2020. Okay, then I have my anime versus manga spread. So these are some of the titles that I'm really excited to do for my anime versus manga series. This will most likely not get done anytime in 2020 because this is a lot of books to read, and I have to watch the anime adaptation. Most of these animes I've seen already in some capacity, maybe a long time ago, or I've never finished it. But so far I've done Tokyo Ghoul, and I gave that entire series a 3 out of 5 stars, or a 3 out of 5 circles, whatever you want to call it. And then I recently finished filming my Neon Genesis Evangelion first half of the series, because this show is so freaking complicated. I had to break it up into 2 videos. So first half of the series is done, and I gave that a full 5 out of 5. It was A1, fantastic. And then I put a little sushis at the bottom. Look how cute they are. Next, reading challenge. So my reading goal for 2020 is to read 100 books. I actually really like this spread. I need to update this as well, because I should be somewhere around here, like 50 something books. But I'm going to fill it in rainbow color until I get to 100. And then tags. So these are just a list of tags that I want to do. Some of them I've done already, and I just need to fill this in, but new, old, and original. Some of them are original tags. I really enjoy coming up with original tags. I want to do that more often. This page I am not very fond of, so it's a quote from Oscar Wilde, which is, "With flowers, books, and the moon, who could not be happy?" I do not like the way that this looks. I will next year do something a lot nicer. Color pencils do not work on this, but let's keep going. This one I love. Everything in here I got like just ideas I've been writing down from watching other people. No idea in here I think is original, absolutely nothing. So physical are green, audio are blue, and ebook are red. So at the end of every month I kind of go in and then just fill in what I read that month. Okay, next is the first month. So for January I put a box for special events. So my birthday's in January, and then what TVs or movies I was watching at that time. Books read, so you're gonna see this kind of evolve as we go through it, and then I put the book, the title, the author, the amount of pages, when it was published, and then the star rating. And then I kind of do like a little doodle. I'm using highlighters throughout this, so I'm just like doodling what I can of the title cover. I think in the future I want to get one of those little printers that you can print. I've seen like other people do, where they get this tiny little thing and you can print pictures of the books off your phone. I gotta find out where everyone gets that from. It's probably linked in someone's video. Reading stats. Okay, this is so plain, but you're gonna see this evolve in a little while. So reading stats, I put like, as you can see, I'm not neat, right? Because I doodled over this. It's just, it gets better. So I put genres, but not everything in here is a genre. That's not gonna work. So I kind of changed it up later, but I have the format, and then audio, physical, ebook. I wrote numbers here instead of X's, tallying. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll just kind of like put a mark for whatever it is, I guess, to put towards my statistics at the end of the book. Then I have favorite book, and for this month it was The Memory Police, and then I wrote like what it was about, and why it was my favorite. I thought that by going back I might put in some quotes, but that was not smart on my part, because what made me think that I would actually, remember quotes from January when I started this in April. I can barely remember my own recipe on how to make biscuits. Like, how am I gonna remember a quote from January? Ask any of my friends, they'll tell you. I'm like super forgetful because I'm always doing 1,000,001 projects at the same time. But I really like this section here, which is words that I've learned. So whatever words I learn or whatever words I come across while I'm reading, I will write them here along with the definition. I think it'll be really cool at the end of the year to see like how many new words I've learned.
Okay, February, as you can see, February, for some reason I had a lot of February. I'm filming this, it's like end of July, and I have not gotten to update February, but that's okay, I'll get to it eventually. Again, I should not have gone back, I should have just kept going forward when I started.
Okay, now here we go into where things start to get interesting. So March was the start of quarantine and remote learning. So basically, the world fell apart in March. So favorite books, I wrote none because none of them were extremely memorable. Everything was just, even though I gave some stuff 4 stars, it was probably more like a 3.5. At the end of March, I started booktubing, and so I wanted to do something for social media growth, and I hate the way that this looks. I really don't like the way that this looks. And you're gonna see it turn into something much more beautiful and legible. Like, disregard this, right? But start is obviously at 0 because it was my first month on booktube. And then so I put the start, the end, and then the percentage or number of growth over that month. So I think this is really interesting to see how much I've grown. April and May were the last 2 major months of the school year, and it was really hectic. So I'm pretty sure there's no events outside of work. Everything was just work. I like the way this looks a little bit more. I kind of keep with this style that you'll see going forward. So my favorite books that month were A Storm of Swords and Educated. Up that month, quotes, still don't have any, look at that. Definitions, I don't even know what I'm going to put here. I have no idea what I'm going to put here. You see what I'm talking about? This is a hot mess. I'm sorry. Social growth, so now we actually have some growth. So I put number of subscribers, impression click-through, which I end up taking off much later on because it's not even relevant. My favorite part of this whole thing is talking to you guys, so I really love that it's growing. Eventually these special events turned into like reading related things, but I was watching Hannibal in May, this page, and then favorite book. This is where I start this kind of design that's here. The first quote I have in this entire bullet journal, and it's not even a book related quote. It's from Karamo from the show Queer Eye, which I've been obsessed with. Like, oh my god, I cry at every episode. Don't even get me started. But it says, forgiveness is not a destination, it is a journey. And I still don't like the way that, I don't know if you guys, can you guys even see? I wrote it in like silver. So, okay, there you go. You can kind of see it. There we go. Subscribers was at 22, ended the month at 62. Watch hours started at 15, ended at 33. And then, okay, finally we get into the stuff that I'm doing more relevantly now that's really working for me, and started my first reading tracker month in June. The Queer Lit Readathon was my very first readathon. So this reading tracker, just so I know like what days of the month didn't I read. So in June, there's only 4 days in June where I didn't read anything. But other than that, I was either mostly physical, because that's all the solid, and then audio is the diagonal slashes, and then ebook is the horizontal slashes. Reading statistics, getting cleaner as we go along. Favorite. This one is from Elsie from the comic book Bangs, and she's a vampire, and her partner says to her, like, hey, we should have a baby. And she goes, what do you mean, like, for dinner? And I was like, ha ha ha. Funny. Great, now we're actually going to start talking about YouTube video goals, and this is where I start planning out how things are going to work. You can still see I'm still using the silver. Unfortunately, it's not reading that well. Okay, July, and this is where we are now, but I've already started planning for August. So I'm doing Reading Like My Friend-a-thon, which is a personal readathon between me and my friend Vicky online. I have not updated my monthly tracker for this month. I will do that in a little bit. I also have not updated the books that I'm currently reading, because there should be books here. This is the list of prompts because in July I did my first Blackjack TBR, so these are the prompts that were highlighted. And see how unorganized this looks? This looks so unorganized. This looks like, what was I thinking? So I actually like what I did for this in August is much cleaner. For quotes, I already have 2 quotes in here from Queer Eye. I am obsessed with this show. One says, just because you American doesn't mean you should. And my insecurities are not necessarily my realities. I love that. Yada yada yada, all that good stuff. Mid-year freakout tag. Okay, here's another hot mess, because what happened was on the next page is August and it bled through. So the mid-year freakout tag, I just put the questions and then the answers that I had. I think it'll be really interesting to compare these answers to when I do the end of the year freakout tag. Is there an end of the year freakout tag? I think there is. There's a ton of end of the year videos, best of the year, all that good stuff. So I'm just gonna compare those answers to this one. But you will see in a second how August bled through here. So one thing that I would suggest is always test out, maybe in the back or somewhere on a scrap piece of the same paper that you're using for your journal, is test out the markers that you're using, because you will see in some places, look how this bled over from the silver. The splotch got on here and it came through to the other side. This bled through, so it kind of makes it hard to read. Yeah, I would say test out all your stuff. So right now I finished setting up August, so this is my favorite so far. In August, special events are Eroticathon, which is being hosted by my friend Vicky over on Twitter and Instagram, and I will post a link up above for anybody who's interested in taking part of that. It's from the 10th to the 23rd, and it's all about reading different erotic themes in literature. And what does it actually mean to read something that is erotic? Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be that the entire book is like all a smut book. It could just be an element within the book, or it can be handled in ways that you would not typically expect. So I definitely suggest anybody who's interested in exploring more erotic literature or anything of that subject nature to go check that out. But I did 2 trackers for the month of August. So one is a reading tracker, and then another one is the YouTube video scheduling tracker, which I really like this. That way I can see physically, like, am I really getting my videos out every 5 days? I don't know why I did this extra column here. I don't know what I was thinking. But then I'm gonna have the date and the title of the video that I posted to be read. I'm giving myself 2 pages for that. Readathon prompts, so this is for Eroticathon, so right now there's 7 prompts. I'm going with prompts number 3, 6, and 7. I haven't chosen those books for that prompt yet because I'm going to be playing Blackjack TBR and trying to combine the books from here with each other depending on what cards come up for my Blackjack TBR. But I'm going with the prompt erotic themed poetry, and then written by an author from a different country from yours and read on the cover. Reading stats will be filled in. Quotes. This is the social media growth page that I am so much more happy with. It's much more legible and much more organized in my opinion. And that is all she wrote for the How Not to Bullet Journal. Basically, it's just showing you my bullet journaling for the year, what's working, what's not working, what I could have done differently. But I hope that this inspires someone, and whatever way you are tracking your reading or whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it, because there is no wrong way to do it. Shame on me for thinking that this wasn't gonna be great, because it is, because I tried. Okay guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
What's it making, Mr. Wonka?